Hey everybody, what's going on here on Facebook Live here? This is our first ever attempt at doing a Big Brother live feed update here on Facebook Live. And happy Friday to everybody. It's June 24th, 2016, and we are ready to update you all on the overnight from the Big Brother live feeds. And here we are, joining me live, one of our live feed correspondents from the podcast. Here is the great Alex Kidwell. Alex, how are you?
Doing good, Rob. Who'd have thought one day when Mark Zuckerberg had a dream that we would get here?
Yes, here we are.
It's all been leading to this.
So this is great that we are able to finally be on live and people can be watching us here in the afternoon. House guests are just starting to stir here on a Friday afternoon as we get ready for the first full day of the Big Brother live feeds for Big Brother 18. We are going to be talking about everything that's been going on overnight. So if you've watched the first two nights of the show and you don't want to be spoiled about anything going on for the live feeds, you can, of course, join us again on the podcast this Sunday night and go ahead and either watch us live there or subscribe to the podcast at robhasawebsite.com/iTunes. Or if you want to hear about the live feeds or if you've been following them yourself, Alex has been, have you been, up all night?
Yeah, pretty much.
Big Brother time?
Yeah, a little bit this morning. Everyone else is asleep. I might as well try to catch a couple hours. But yeah, for the most part.
Okay, so we are going to be talking through all of that. If you want to get in on the Big Brother live feeds, I believe you can get in for 1 week for free when you sign up. You can use our link, robhasawebsite.com/live feeds. All right, so let's jump right in and talk about this. Okay, first night is in the books. I watched a couple of hours last night myself. So, Alex, let's get into some of the big takeaways. And why don't we start with the big twist that has been teased for this Sunday night competition? What do we know at this hour about the new twist?
Well, we know that there was a new competition, and it sounds like it was won by Nicole.
Yes.
It sounds like the real end result of this competition was the opportunity to, it seemingly anonymously, nominate a third player to the block. It sounds like kind of the fallout of this is Nicole has nominated Paul to go up alongside Paulie and Jose, and the house seems to be, I think, blaming Michelle.
All right, so explain to me why there's confusion about this, because back in season 15 when we had the MVP twist, obviously it was America was voting, there was somebody was the MVP, they found out it was anonymous. But if Nicole has won some sort of competition, is it something like the Spool of Lies type deal where there's like a puzzle and you have to go into the diary room and solve it and we don't know who the winner of the competition is?
This is one of those things that we need to see it on Sunday. All we have is just kind of the knowledge that, some side conversation and some speculation. My guess is like the thing that makes the most sense is some kind of a time trial thing, where we've seen it in the past where people are sequestered in individual rooms and then compete separately. And so you wouldn't necessarily know how other people performed. So I think that's plausible. We're just going to have to wait and see on Sunday.
Do you like the idea of a third nominee here? I mean, how does this compare to having the Battle of the Block?
I mean, personally, I don't like it because I think what it does is obviously it's encouraging people to want to win competitions, right? If you win this competition, now you have power. And the thing is, you can kind of take away the HOH's power. The whole problem with this is that, the great thing about Big Brother, about the HOH power, is that you can be in a house by yourself. It can be you against the world. You can win HOH and know that you have not only safety, but the guaranteed opportunity to make nominees, maybe secure yourself some deals, and that one of your targets is for sure going home. Now that's gone because somebody else can win a competition, anonymously throw up a third person, and the majority can reclaim that way. I don't know that I love this, but we'll see how it plays out.
Okay, so Nicole putting Paul up on the block takes a little bit of the sting off of the Paulie nomination because at least you're taking away one of the votes potentially that would be voting against Paulie. But you're really incentivizing Paul to really now fight for his life in the house and not just, or I guess really bury Jose if that's the way that he wants to go. From what you've heard overnight, how are we expecting Thursday's vote to go? I know it's still a ways away.
Sure. And there's still a veto to be played. So, who knows if a nominee could come off and Nicole would have to name a fourth person at this point.
Yeah.
But, ultimately, it sounds like one of the people who was most vocal about, the newbies sticking together against the vets was Glenn. Well, Glenn's gone. Paul and Jose were two of the people most vocal. They're up on the block, and the numbers just aren't there. Last night, I was listening to a bit of a conversation between Bronte and Natalie, who definitely recognized the need for the newbies to stick together if they want to have a shot. I mean, we all know that, but they look at their dwindling numbers and they just don't see the votes.
Okay. So it looks as though the vote will hold. Jose is still, from what we can understand at this hour, he is going home on Thursday.
Yeah, as far as I know, he's certainly not done anything to endear himself to people. He's a bit of a tornado in the house. Some people have been comparing him to Devin a bit just because of how explosive he has been. Last night, he threatened a house meeting. A lot of feedsters now, he's on their ish list because they stayed up for the house meeting. That never happened because Jose got tired and went to sleep instead.
It's funny because the house meeting, they were talking about 2 p.m., house meeting, it's happening tonight. And so I had gone to bed, but I had woke up because I had to feed my son, Anthony, in the middle of the night. And I was like, oh, okay, good, just in time. And I was up around 2:30. And they were talking about, Jose canceled the house meeting because he got tired. He went to bed. Who cancels their own house meeting?
Yeah, right. It's frustrating because some of us care enough about Jose's game to stay up and watch it, but Jose doesn't care enough about Jose's game to make it happen.
All right. So, of course, that would not be the first week of Big Brother if we did not get some gigantic alliance in the house. Nicole was in the house with the bomb squad. So, what can we see here in Big Brother 18 in terms of the huge alliance that is very stereotypical in any Big Brother game?
Yeah, so your mega conglomerate du jour is known as the 8-pack.
Yes.
The 8-pack is made up of the 4 veterans, Devon, James, Frank, and Nicole, Tiffany, Vanessa's sister, Michelle, Zakia, and Corey.
Yes, okay. So both
and then
siblings.
Paulie is kind of like the remora that kind of hangs on attached underneath the alliance.
Remora. Okay. So we have the 8-pack. How solid is the 8-pack, or is that just, as we expect often with these Big Brother early season alliances, it's just a thing that's going on. Nobody's particularly loyal to it.
Right. Well, the thing about it is, it's an onion. It's we're doing a lot of catch up. And last night there wasn't a lot that happened specifically, but we did find out about a lot that has happened. There's a 5 within the 8.
Yes.
And the 5 has dubbed themselves the Fatal 5 as of last night. That name was bestowed upon them by Tiffany, Nicole, Devon, Zakia, and Michelle.
Right, so that's Fatal 5, that is the women's alliance. And actually, that's what I had caught last night. Instead of the Jose house meeting, I was watching a bit of that Fatal 5 all talking together. They said they were going to do it for Joey. They were going to make the women's alliance happen in her honor.
Yeah, just do what's best for your game. Don't worry about Joey. Joey's fine, I'm sure. She doesn't need that. But yeah, I do think they talked about having regular Friday meetings and stuff, and hopefully we'll get another meeting sometime tonight.
Okay. Do you feel like that the women's alliance is going to hold? I mean, we've seen alliances like the Brigade sort of have this same sort of plan. One gender. Let's not meet that often. Let's not let people know that we're a thing in the house. Do you have high hopes for the Fatal 5?
I think the only real obstacle for the Fatal 5 is the Fatal 5 themselves, because they really do represent the brain trust of the house. There's not a lot of strategically savvy people, it doesn't seem like. They really are, a few of them are super in tune with what's going on in the game already on a level that nobody else is. And they're already, working things like Zakia is showmancing Paulie a bit. They're already starting to bridge those connections the way the Brigade did. Really, it's just going to come down to if they, turn on each other or if they, roll with this. The thing is, they have the 5 within the 8, so that's secure. Mm-hmm. And, having the other 2 veterans in Frank and James, as long as they can keep them loyal to them, it's going to be tough to get anyone to turn on that. James's problem is I think he wouldn't see the forest through the trees until it's too late. And Frank is, interestingly enough, I know I guess he's not feeling well. But he did go to bed early last night, which made me wonder, is like Frank getting a little older? I don't know. Is Frank the Donnie of this season? I hope not.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a late night guy, and he's just, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but we'll see. Decisions are being made late.
Some gastrointestinal distress was discussed in the house for Frank.
Yeah. Frank definitely, something about his stomach wasn't sitting too well, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of seasons still to be played.
Okay. In terms of the women, the Alliance of Five, I really do feel good about this group. And what do you think about this? What about, instead of the brigade, could they be the Baygade?
I think we might need to workshop that.
Okay, workshop that. Okay, we'll keep.
Yeah.
We'll work on it. What about showmances? In terms of the showmances, I turned on the feeds last night. I ended up seeing Zakiya. Looked like Paulie had an arm around her. Is that a thing?
That's definitely a thing. Yeah, and Zakiya sells it to the Fatal Five as though she's just kind of working it. I think there's some attraction there, but I think it's definitely mutual attraction. And then, today I was watching feeds, and Zakiya was teasing Paulie about the fact that he could go home first. And what would Cody say to that? Being that he made it to Final 10, like, it was just fantastic. Zakiya is amazing. She's really fun to watch.
Okay. From what we saw on the show that first night, where we had Zakiya and Paul and also Jose all talking about being a unit together, has that sort of come and gone? Is Zakiya sort of she's cast them aside to be in other alliances without those guys?
Yeah, well, Zakiya, unlike those guys, has watched Big Brother since season 3. She's a huge fan, and she knows when a ship is beginning to sink. I believe that she saw kind of the writing on the wall and began to gravitate herself towards Day on that team rather than those two guys. Also interesting to note that apparently we've missed a showmance by having the feeds come on when they did. Victor and Natalie got together and broke up all in the time that feeds were not up yet.
Oh no, it's terrible. So
it was passionate and it was fleeting, Rob.
Okay, such is life in the Big Brother house. So now we have going into this week's eviction. Now 11 people will vote. Is there a counter resistance that's going on, or does it seem like that anybody that was potentially going to be in La Resistance against the Newbies, have they all sort of just given up the cause of Newbies versus Vets?
Right. Well, that was the Bronte Natalie conversation I was alluding to last night. They're the two that really recognized seriously that aren't on the block, that recognize the sense of urgency here. It's just unfortunate that, they really don't seem to have any degree of ability to pull. I mean, who are they going to pull?
Right. I feel like that in the first 2 nights of how I've been looking at this, I think I've probably been looking at it in too much in terms of black and white, where it's Newbies versus Vets. If the Newbies don't strike the Vets down, then they have no chance. But I wonder if we should be looking maybe more towards Big Brother 14, where we saw alliances like the Quack Pack, which had Dan and Brittany in it, but also new players, including Ian, who went on to win the season. And I wonder if maybe we should be starting to look at different pairings of Newbies with the Vets.
Yeah, and it will be interesting because obviously, even if there is this 5 within the 8, we know how Frank operates. Frank doesn't go down without a fight. And if you don't try to get Frank out until 8, he may very well win his way to the end. So there's a lot of variables still in play here that I think could make this pretty interesting.
Let's talk about some of the other things that have come out of the feeds overnight. It looked like that there was a bit of tension between Jose and James over some comments that Jose made.
Yeah, so, and it's interesting. People were, especially Vets, were talking about how a lot of the new players seem to act totally different the moment they knew feeds were on, which obviously that never lasts. Jose apparently before feeds were up had made some comments that James, being a military veteran, really took offense to.
Yeah. Boy, Jose has really taken his dislike of the veterans in the house to a whole new level, really offending both veterans of Big Brother and of military service.
Yeah, he really doubled down. Yeah, James is both, unfortunately, and he's got to play with the guy. So, yeah, he's done himself no favors in that department.
Yeah. So, Jose is not doing himself any favors. It seemed like that there was a couple other people that were annoyed with him about other things, Jose.
Yeah, I mean, he's big, he's boisterous, and yeah, he's really just gone out of his way to make it clear where he stands. He thinks he's the Messiah. We know this. And, I think Andy Herron said it best on Twitter. Bad players announce themselves as great. Great players announce themselves as weak.
Yeah, so we'll see if the Messiah will be able to save himself when we get to the veto. Expected to be tomorrow, right? On Saturday, we will have our first veto of the season.
Yep, Saturday's usually the day for feeds to go down and someone to come back with something shiny around their neck.
Yeah. And what else can you set up about the Big Brother weekend that we're about to kick off?
In terms of what? Like just
anything else that that is expected to come up this weekend, or anything else you've noticed in your about at this hour 13 hours of Big Brother live feeds?
Yeah, I guess just the idea that there's a brain trust. The Tiffany, Nicole, Zakiya, Devon, Michelle contingent. Those are the ones to watch and to know they're loyal to each other right now. So to watch their interactions with other people accordingly. And, that there's other people that need to strike soon or they're in real trouble. And, whether or not they realize it, like, for example, like Bridget, is another story.
Yeah. Why? What is the deal with Bridget?
Well, I just think she's a really nice girl who may find herself caught up in a game that's being played around her. You know what I mean? Like, she's sweet and, it's very possible that just kind of by not doing anything, other things will blow up, and as a result, she'll be able to get along. But it doesn't seem like she has a lot going for her right now in the way of strategy. And as it stands right now, it is a ticking clock because there is a majority alliance in place, and she's not in it.
One of the benefits of being here live is that we can take some questions from you guys who are watching us on the Facebook Live video. So we've got a good-sized audience watching this live show. So if you want to post some questions in the thread, we can see them and take a couple with Alex before we sign off today. Also, later on today, we are scheduled to get our brief exit interview with Glenn. Yes, it's a very brief exit interview. They're calling the Brexit interview with Glenn is coming up. We sent in our questions to CBS. When we get them, if we get them soon, we will maybe just tack them on to the end of the podcast. If not, we will post them on the page at robhasawebsite.com as we get ready to go. Anybody really surprise you with how they were acting on the live feeds as compared to what you saw in 2 nights of them on the live feeds, Alex?
Versus the edited show?
Yeah, 2 hours on the edited show.
Right. Yeah. Tiffany looks really good. Obviously she's landed in a safe position now. But there was definitely on the show, it was like, oh, here we go with the, Vanessa crying. She's going to be, emotionally vulnerable. But, honestly, that worked out for Vanessa, and it seems to be working out for Tiffany. As long as she's landing in a safe spot, now she has a lot of opportunity to kind of like stretch her arms and start, throwing some things and ideas out there. And she does seem to be probably the savviest of the group of 5 that does include 2 returning players.
When you've got that quad feed open and you can see basically a bunch of different things going on in the house, is there one person that you say, okay, if they're on the feeds, I'm watching that one?
Devon is great on the feeds right now. I mean, certainly she knows how this works, so that's a factor. So, her explaining like the 101 to new players it was kind of interesting. On top of that, she just has a way of presenting information and saying things that just has it just carries in such a way she has such a gusto about her delivery, Rob, that really makes her very entertaining to watch no matter what she's talking about.
Okay. Matt on Facebook wants to know, has Devon toned it down since last season, scheming-wise?
It's interesting. I was having some conversations with people about this on Twitter, and I think it is an interesting conversation because to me, I see basically the same play with a different result. I think that she's in there with people that are more likely to want to work with a player like Devon. There are no Clays in there, or if they are, she doesn't need them. You know what I mean? Like she has the numbers without needing to socialize with somebody like Corey. So I don't necessarily think that she's doing anything differently. I just think, last season she was only really able to get along with Jason, and so she chilled with Jason. And this season she has a lot more options of people she can hang out and dish with, which is what she wants to do. She does kind of seem to like to isolate and talk about other people, which can come back to bite you in this game, but in her position right now, it won't.
Okay, Dana wants to know, do any of the house guests besides Melissa, I believe that should be Michelle, and Day know that Vanessa's sister is playing?
Yeah, so this is kind of funny because Tiffany delivered a message to Vanessa and James came in. Anytime James refers to Sarah when talking to Tiffany, he means Vanessa. And this would be the kind of thing James comes up with because, like, he would be given a secret and just teeter it dangerously close to the fire, right? Like this, it's not a good game, but it is fun for James. Yeah, she was telling Tiffany on the feeds like only, and then she listed about like half the house know the secret.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's a lot of people who know. All the vets know at this point. Tiffany, basically their whole alliance, except for like Paulie and Corey.
Mm-hmm. Dylan wants to know, is Paul as bad on the live feeds as he was portrayed on the show?
He's pretty bad. When the feeds came on, he was doing a Joey Alex where he was dressed as a woman and he was running around with Leah like coconut boobies. And it's just, yeah, he seems out of his element. It's like one of these people, it's like, I'm not sure what to do with my hands kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like he's in there without rules and he doesn't know how to get himself further in a game without rules. And he's, you know, bless him for trying, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see how it all plays out when we get towards Sunday night and eventually on a collision course with the first eviction night this Thursday. Anything else from the feeds you want to share with us before we jump off today?
No, I just think, you know, the major takeaway from this right now is, you know, the story of the hour is women are dominating, but, you know, will they turn on each other?
Yes.
But this is the season of women, if not.
Right. It's like the Daenerys and Yara Greyjoy season of Big Brother.
It is. It's Game of Thrones season 6. It's all coming together, Rob.
Yes. I'm with her. Hashtag for Big Brother 18. All right. Noah wants to know, last question, is Nicole truly playing it Derek style? Do you see any similarities between what Derek was doing in Big Brother 16 and what Nicole's setting up here?
I see the effort. To me, it's like a little, the comparison is there, but it's like comparing a huge square to a much, much smaller square rather than comparing two similarly sized shapes. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's like Derek getting one over on someone in a few situations was like a genius, you know, just fooling a really, you know, capable, normal human being. Some of this looks like a capable, normal human being getting one over on like a toddler. Okay. It's just not the same, but it is a comparison. It's just scaled down.
All right, well, Alex, great stuff. I know you probably want to get some rest here as we have kept you up all night long covering everything on the feeds. So I really appreciate all your hard work overnight. I will be back on Sunday night live with Taryn Armstrong to recap everything that happened over the weekend and in the Sunday night Big Brother episode. We're going to have that at about 10:15, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, a little bit delayed because of the Game of Thrones finale, which we also will be having live coverage of on post-show recaps this Sunday night. If you want to get in on the live feeds this weekend, great time to do it. robhasawebsite.com/live feeds if you want to try out 1 week for free. And of course, if you are seeing us talk about Big Brother for the first time and want to get in on our Big Brother podcast, we are live after every episode of Big Brother this season. And wow, that's going to be like 40 Big Brother recaps this year. You can catch them all at robhasawebsite.com or subscribe to the podcast feed on iTunes. Go to robhasawebsite.com/iTunes to subscribe or search for RHAP in your favorite podcatcher. Looking forward to hearing what you guys think about everything we had to say and whether or not you like these Facebook updates that we can do from time to time. So let us know and we can do more. And Alex, anything else? Got a hashtag for people? Hashtag here?
I didn't think anything.
No, okay, that's fine.
I always feel like there's not going to be a hashtag, and then you put me on the spot at the end of this.
Well, that's because I don't have one. If I had one, I would just throw it out there. But
I'm working on Post-it notes and things I need to get better at. That's about to become one.
Okay. Hashtag Alex's Post-it. All right. So this was very fun to be able to jump on here and hear from you guys. So hope you enjoyed it. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody.